Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Spiritual Tarotist. So today, continuing our deep dive into the tarot, we are going to talk about the High Priestess. This is a card that I like. It talks about intuition, and that's like, if I were to pick like a key word for this card, I would say intuition. Water, emotion, subconscious thought, the moon, wisdom, cycles, all that fun stuff. This is a card that I really enjoy seeing come up when I'm doing, sorry, I'm trying to show my hands. This is a talking hands video, you guys. Here's my hands. Ooh. Sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. I woke up like really early this morning and got up and did research on the High Priestess, and which is really early for me. 5 o'clock in the morning, it's really early for me. And then I got really tired and knocked out and was out for like hours. I don't know what happened. I think I might have worked through some trauma this morning, because I also was like thinking about some other things, and I always do a tarot spread in the morning and yada, yada, yada. So I'm trying to jump into this video because I'm just trying to kind of get through these videos and get like some content flowing on my channel. That's probably more information than you guys needed to know, but I just wanted to share. So if you're new to my channel, I'm going to have videos on the tarot that are like shorter videos, but for right now, I'm so the first two videos were like 60 minutes long, around there. And I'm actually trying to keep the other ones around the same, because I'm just trying to like really talk about each card, and not only talk about each card, but I really think it's important to talk about the spiritual aspect surrounding each card and to demystify it a little bit, right? Because spirituality is really just, we're talking about other realms. We're talking about, so there's the physical realm, and then there's other realms like that aren't physical, like the astral realm, the realms that we go to when we die, and all these things. And tarot is very much incorporated with that. I can't do a tarot reading without talking about universal truths. And sometimes I'm thinking, I guess I don't think on it too much, but sometimes I'm thinking, like I'm probably offending some people. But, at the end of the day, if you have a belief system that doesn't believe in tarot, you probably shouldn't be getting a tarot reading. And you probably shouldn't be reading tarot. Because the reason why is because all of that is energy. If I don't believe in something, I probably shouldn't be, like Christians say, don't do tarot readings. So you probably, if you're a Christian, if you identify as a Christian, if that's your belief system, you probably shouldn't do tarot readings, because you're bringing an energy to it out the gate that's like, this is demonic, but I'm going to do it anyway. That is putting me on a whole different thing. Anyway, but this is the Spiritual Tarotist, so I am talking about spiritual things in conjunction with the tarot, because it is important. And especially with the major arcana. The major arcana is like the spiritual, you have the major arcana, minor arcana, major secrets, minor secrets, right? The major secrets are the secrets of the spiritual realm, right? So it's just about understanding that there are different realms of existence, understanding our true nature, understanding that we actually we actually incarnated here with gifts, with abilities to control our environment, like our environment. I think it's like not the environment of others. It should be focused on self, right? But we do have the ability to control our environment. And I just think that there's a lot of belief systems that don't like that. reality because okay, so first of all, I know it to be a reality because 10 months ago, I would have said, I've never seen anything spiritual happen in my life. Like, I really didn't believe that that stuff existed. And once I became open to it, I've not seen a lot, but I've experienced a lot more, and my intuition has grown a lot. So maybe this is why I'm talking about this, because if you're a person who wants to be more intuitive or thinks maybe you have some gifts that are not exposed, because I think everybody has gifts, right? We all have gifts. We did not come down here without gifts. Because the gifts are really just things that we bring from the other realm that allow us to like more comfortably navigate this world in the earthly realm. So the High Priestess is, you know, she signifies that. She signifies the fact that we do. It's like the veil behind her is the veil of forgetfulness, and the veil of, you know, like we feel like we can sit in front of the veil and feel like all there is what's in front of the veil, but there's a whole world behind the veil. And I think that the High Priestess has the ability to dip into that world, right? She is the number 2, you know, so the number 2, and oh, I didn't write this down, but and I'm blanking on what the number 2 means in numerology. Okay, but it has a significance. I'm so sorry, I'm blanking on that. Man, I try to write things down so I don't forget it, and I forgot to write down the numerology of the number 2. But the High Priestess is the number 2, and she's got the pillars beside her. It's a pillar of Boaz and Yaquin or something like that. And these are the pillars on the tree of life. The tree of life. So let me talk about the correspondences of like the tree of life, and because tarot has a lot of correspondences to the tree of life, the numerology, astrology, astrological correspondences. Man, I don't know why it's so hard for me to get through this video today. I tried to like study and all that stuff, but here we go. So, there are a lot of correspondences, and there's some debate on whether like those correspondences are like man-made or if it actually came from the spiritual realm. And this is the thing. We are conscious creators, and in the other realms, it's really like conscious creation, right? It's conscious creation without a physical body. In this realm, it's conscious creation with limitations and with a physical body, because we're limited to the like kind of like rules of this physical realms, right? So you can't just, you can think about water, for instance. You can think about water and like manifest that into your reality. You know, you can become good at that. Like if you're in the desert, right? But the reality is, if you're in the desert, it may be hard to find water. You may try to manifest water all you want, but in the desert, it may not happen, right? Because that's a rule of this realm, right? We have earthly rules, like weather, time, right? I can like imagine that there's no time all I want in the earthly realm, but the reality is there's time, because I can't be time, as I explained in an earlier video, is a measurement of distance. And because on Earth, I can't be in 2 places at once, because that's not a physical possibility on Earth, right? In a physical form, time exists because it takes me time. Like right now I'm in Michigan, it would take me time to get to a desert somewhere, right? We have a lot of water in Michigan. we have a lot of water in Michigan, but a person in the desert, Michigan would be a great place to be, but it would take them some time to get here. So in the earthly realm, there are limitations, but in the spiritual realm, there aren't the earthly limitations of form, being in a physical body and, like having those rules. But we do still have the ability to kind of reach beyond the veil. And that is what the High Priestess represents, is our own intuition. So she's the number 2. I talked about a lot already. So yes, the veil it represents the veil between the conscious and the subconscious. Right? So in tarot is a measurement of our vibration, but there's 2 selves. We have our human physical self and we have our higher self. And so we're not always conscious of what's going on with the higher self. And tarot is a great way, but the higher self, the vibration of the higher self is always present within us. So that vibration is there, whether we're aware of it or not. So tarot has a great way of dipping into that subconscious and kind of spilling its secrets. And what's interesting is that this is one of the things I was dealing with this morning is I read my own tarot. I do a tarot reading for myself every morning. And I find that reading for myself, I don't know if it'll always be this way, but right now, reading for myself is difficult. Like, I can't always string together a meaning like I can when I'm reading somebody else. Like, it'll be obvious when I'm reading somebody else. But with me, it sometimes it's just like a bunch of cards. Like, there are things that are veiled even from me. I'm not super psychic, but I do have some intuition that reaches beyond the veil, which is why I'm good at reading tarot, and that's something that's developed. You actually can develop your intuition. That's something I talk about more on another channel of mine, but it's something that I will kind of bring up on this channel because it has a lot to do with tarot. You can, like, if you're a card reader and you don't feel very intuitive, keep reading cards, keep watching picker readings on YouTube, because it'll develop your intuition. The more you kind of flex that muscle, the more that intuition will develop. I had the other day, last night, I had my first clairvoyant experience, because I don't usually see things psychically. I am more, I think the word is clairsentient. I think that's the word. So I just get knowings. I have knowings. Like, I'll do a reading and I just, like, cards will kind of like say, it's not like they light up or anything like that, but they'll kind of like, in my mind, like, certain cards will like kind of highlight themselves and say, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. Like, I go with this card over here, like I've had that ability, or just to know things, right? But not that I know everything. I don't know everything. It's definitely in those moments of like really channeling and trying to help other people. I feel like my gift is really towards helping other people. And when it comes to myself, I want to help myself, but also I'm on this journey like everybody else is. And so the veil is not, like, at least right now, it's not totally lifted for me all the time. But yesterday I had a moment where I was doing a reading and there was like the Lovers card and the Hierophant, which I haven't talked about either one of those cards yet on this channel. But the Hierophant and Lovers, when it comes up together in a reading, usually signifies marriage of some sort. And so I'm looking at the Lovers and the Hierophant, and I looked at it like several times and saw the Hierophant. And then I was explaining those cards. Like, I was really zooming in on each card, talking to the client about each card. And I saw that what I thought was the Hierophant was actually the Emperor card. But that was kind of like a moment of clairvoyance, because I swear up and down that that was the Hierophant before. So it was it was signaling to me that this was like a long-term relationship, that not a marriage, like they never actually entered into marriage, but it was like a relationship that had been going on for so long, and maybe their lives were like intertwined together in a way that a marriage would intertwine their lives. And so that fact became important later in the reading. So I won't go too much in detail about that, but that moment of like clairvoyance was something I hadn't experienced before. So definitely my whole point in telling you this story is that definitely like you can flex the muscle of your intuition, and you can, certain spiritual gifts will reveal themselves once you do that. Okay, and then, so your soul, so we talked about your soul, you having vibration within yourself from your higher self, which is your soul self. Your higher self has profound wisdom. Like your higher self knows all. That's why I have the ability to tap into different people's energy. Like I do Facebook readings and stuff. And literally from just sitting at home and looking on Facebook, I can do a reading on somebody else. I never do it on people that haven't asked me to, but like when people ask me to do a reading on them, I don't have to see them in person, because all I have to do is focus on them. Even if it's a fake name, all I have to do is focus on that person who's presenting themselves as such and such and such on Facebook, and I'll be able to pull out their energy and do a reading on them, right? The reason I have the ability to do that is not because I'm like Wonder Woman or anything. It's because I am at a higher level. We're all one. We're all tapped into each other, right? We're all the one. We're all source. So at a higher, that's why I'm able to do that, because at a higher level, like my higher self is tapped into the energy of everybody, right? So, so yeah, a lot of things at a higher level, but those things are not necessarily conscious to you on the physical level. And that's why I'm saying, like, even with me, there's a lot that's like, I feel like there's a lot that's veiled to me. There's a lot that like, I just get the feeling that there's a lot that I'm not like supposed to know about, my life. Like it's still like, even though I have the ability to read tarot and I'm pretty gifted at it, it's like I am not. There are certain things that I'm not supposed to know about my own life, because I'm on this journey and it needs to unfold, right? So yeah. So I talked about the pillars. This goes back to the tree of life. And the Kabbalah. So, it talks about this card can really talk about feminine energy a lot. Like I was just imagining that like in a reading, my daughter is singing. My daughter is singing. Okay, so I just imagine, so this card can talk about femininity in a real material way, like, because it talks about the like cycles. She has the moon in her hat, and also there's a correspondence to Ibis here. No, Ibis, yeah, Ibis. I'm not sure my notes were super thorough this morning because I was so tired. What I think actually happened was I kind of had a revelation this morning, because I was really like, I've been trying to do tarot on myself, and I've been trying to, I know that there are things that are being shielded from me. So of course I'm like, okay, I'm trying to break through, and I'm trying to like figure out, what is it that you're hiding from me? What is it that the universe is not showing me, right? So I'm like really trying to break through, and I think I did have a breakthrough moment this morning, and it really had to do with my like personal trauma. And when we're affected physically because it is, the energy in our body is very physical. So we can be affected physically by changes in that energy. Like when we work through trauma, it's tiring. Like, I don't know if you've ever done like a therapy session that was really intense and then you just feel tired afterwards, or an argument that was really intense that made you feel tired. Like, that energy is tiring. And I think that's why I got so tired this morning. So I'm sitting here trying to write notes on this, and I missed a lot. Like the number 2 meaning in numerology. I know what it means, but I can't remember what it means. So look that up, because when this card comes up, the number 2 can be significant. And then also going back to femininity, this card, like if you got a reading and it was like showing that someone was going to have a baby and this card came up, I would 100% think that the baby is a girl based on this card. Because it's all about cycles of the moon, and women have cycles. Like our menstrual cycles correlate to the cycles of the moon, right? We go through a monthly cycle. So this card says, it screams woman. I am woman, hear me roar. I know that's going to come up in my future sometimes. It's that is going to come up in a future reading, because I've made that connection and it's a strong connection. I swear that's going to come up in a future reading. Let's see what else. My daughter, she's singing. I love it. She's singing deep and profound knowledge. Yes. She has deep and profound knowledge because she's able to reach beyond that veil and use her intuition. Anytime you're using your intuition is just receiving the messages that your higher self is trying to send you, trying to relay to you. So the High Priestess has she has the ability to really reach beyond that veil and get those messages. So she's got deep, profound knowledge because of that ability. So the High Priestess is independent, thoughtful, and really in her personal power. So the pomegranates on the veil behind her represent ideas, potential, and strong self-esteem. Knowing things from an inward, knowing things from within. So it's an inward card. It's a trust your gut card, right? It's like, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just going to trust my gut. And I feel like that every time I do a tarot reading, because sometimes I'll be saying stuff that's very personal, like it's truth. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I do not know for a fact that this is true. So that's why, like right now, I'm doing tarot readings for people. And I'm like, I just really need you to give me your feedback, because I need to know if my readings are on point. Because am I just making stuff up and feeling like, oh my God, that was so profound? Or am I really hitting on things that are going on in people's lives? Like, I don't always know that. The knowings that come into me are just, I would say it's similar to like if you were writing a fictional book. Say you were writing a fictional novel and you just had this knowing that this is how this novel is supposed to go. Like, I've heard that before from writers. It's like, this is where this is the arc that this character is supposed to take, and this is where this story is supposed to go. Like, that doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like, that is the knowing that I get. So it's kind of like, it's, you know what it is? It's almost like, and I'm just thinking about this for the first time, because it's almost like, I feel like I always say, we are like actors in a play. When we come down here and incarnate into human form, it's like incarnating into this ongoing play, right? I'm playing this part, you're playing that part. Like, we're probably friends in heaven, but like down here, you're my nemesis. Like, we're playing these roles, right? And so because that story or the outline of that story is already written. Like all the timelines have already been written. Like it's not that we don't have free will in life, but all of the timelines, I talked about timelines in my, if you're confused about timelines, you want to know what I'm talking about, go watch my full video, because I talk about time, the nature of time, and I talk about like the multiverse and timelines and stuff like that in that video. So if you're interested in that, go back and look at that. That's also a 60-minute video. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but that one's a 60-minute video. So, so every possibility of our lives has already taken form and taken shape. That doesn't mean that everything that happens in our life is predetermined, right? Because there's free will. So we can jump from timeline to timeline based on the decisions that we make in our life. So there's a timeline where I'm 100%, like there's a timeline where I'm a bum on the streets. You know what I'm saying? There's a timeline where I'm a millionaire. Like and it's different for everybody, because it's about the possibilities that are in your personal energetic body. So not everyone does not have the same exact timeline possibility, right? We have infinite timeline possibilities, but it's different for everybody. So going back to the tarot, is what the tarot does is it says, based on your energy signature today, this is the most likely outcome. But all you have to do, like I have clients who get readings from me every single day. And I see from them that every day there's a slight shift in their energy. Doesn't have to be a big shift. It's a slight shift. Usually there's a big shift though from the first reading to the second reading, because you're going from having absolutely no idea what's in your energy body, like what your energy body is telling the universe. People go from like no idea to at least having some idea of what their energy body is saying and what the outcome is going to be on that particular timeline. So usually there's a big change from day 1 to day 2, right? But from day 2 to day 3, it's more smaller increments of change, right? So, but through tarot, we have the ability not to tap into any timeline, but it taps into the timeline that like is most likely based on your current energy signature. So it's actually I feel like tarot is it's less, I'm really trying to demystify tarot. It's not as mystical as people think it is. It honestly is just the energy in your body it's real. It's physical. It's a real thing. So tarot is just taking a reading. It's the only way we have of really taking the reading on an emotional level, because we can take energy readings on an energy level. Like I don't know about like the kind of readings I'm talking about. I don't know that we have the ability to read that. I mean, I don't know, but like we can read the energy in our brain. We can see like what parts of our brain is more active than other parts of the brain and stuff like that. But we can't take a reading of the brain that says like, this is what this brain is thinking. This is what this brain is feeling. Like we don't have the ability to do that other than tarot, right? Other than tarot, or just straight up being psychic. You know, like if you're psychic and you can just look at a person and say, oh, this is what's in your energy body, right? I haven't delved into like Reiki and, you know, but I don't, like, from my understanding of Reiki, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, because I haven't studied Reiki like that. But my understanding of Reiki is that Reiki is more about healing the energy body than it is like saying, you know, this is your possible future based on your current energy reading. Like tarot does that in a way, I think, like other things that other practices and stuff that are, you know, like more esoteric I just don't feel like it does it as much as tarot does it. But I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if you're a person that is skilled at another kind of like divination craft. And let me know, like, if there are other divination methods that can really read the energy body like tarot does, in the way that says, this is what you're thinking, this is what you're feeling, this is what's happening in your life, this is what the outcome is going to be if you continue down this road. So also, I also want to point out that that is the reason why I don't consider tarot like fortune telling. It's not fortune telling. It's just saying, based on your current energy reading for today, may be different tomorrow, but based on today's reading of your energy, this is your most likely outcome. So if you don't like that outcome, change your decisions. Change what you're manifesting into your reality. We have a lot of power to influence our reality and to influence our lives. I think that we've been tricked for a long time in mankind as a whole into believing that we don't have that power, or that it's wrong to have that power. It's witchcraft, wizardry, blah blah blah, it's from the devil, don't do that, right? But in reality, what it is we have all of these tools available to us to make our experience in this incarnation easier. And there's nothing wrong with using it, in my opinion. So anyway, let me get off of that soapbox. So in reverse, it can mean blocked intuition. It can mean passive aggressiveness. It can mean taking a simplistic view about an issue that's actually much deeper. It can mean asking for help. No, it can mean you need to ask for help. Okay? Like if you're having a problem and like you're having a hard time finding a solution. And actually, the High Priestess reverse has come up in my readings for myself. Right? So they were probably I'm still learning tarot. So I wasn't picking up on that. I was just looking at it as blocked intuition, which was confusing because actually my intuition is getting more open. But that makes sense. Like the ask for help makes sense for me, because I was doing my readings and having a hard time like decoding them for myself. And maybe I was getting messages that were saying, you need to like actually ask for help, like actually ask the universe for help. I'm having a hard time figuring out what this stuff means for me. Like, can you please give me more clarity, or make it, whatever. And my daughter is singing and I'm making a video. She wants to be on camera, clearly. I don't know if that means anything, that my daughter's been singing through this whole video. Okay, so some questions that you can ask yourself is, how can we best move between the conscious and the subconscious parts of ourselves? Do you ever think about doing that? Do you ever try to do that? Do you realize that it's a possibility? Have you ever considered it as a possibility? Think about that. What activities help you? I can't read my own writing. Tap into the subconscious parts of yourself. So do you meditate? Do you play a sport? Do you work out? Do you go for walks? Do you paint? Do you, I talk about this when there's an indication of meditation that comes up in my readings. I always talk about this. Anything that puts you in a flow state, anything that puts you in that state of like, wow, I've been doing this for 6 hours and it feels like it's only been a half an hour. Like I feel like I just started, right? That thing that's like, where did the time go? Like, so how do you treat your intuition? What is your relationship with your intuition? Your relationship with your intuition mirrors your relationship with your soul. So if you're not in alignment with your higher self, you may not appreciate the intuitive nudges that come in and say, hey, 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 don't do this, do that, right? Because you're saying, no, I'm doing this, right? But you're not in alignment with your higher self. So do we get annoyed when we get those intuitive nudges? Do we try to like ignore those intuitive nudges? And like what's one thing that's interesting, because I really listen to like what people who read tarot say about their experience with tarot, and no one's experience with tarot is right or wrong. But what's one of the things that people would say that I always thought was interesting was they would say, man, like tarot can be harsh, or tarot can be like, I don't always like tarot. I don't like what tarot says, And that's kind of the same thing, because it's really your higher self talking through tarot. So if you don't like the messages that tarot is sending you, why not? What's the problem? Do you need to take a different path that maybe you're unwilling to take? Is there healing that needs to be done that you're not willing to do in order to get on the path you want to be on? One thing that's frustrating with me is that when I do my readings, I don't really feel like it makes me do more readings, because I don't really feel like I want to stay away from tarot when it says something that's hard for me to hear. What it says to me is that, because I really work hard at healing, like I've been working very hard on the healing process. And what it says is that there are things that you haven't gotten over yet. There, like we need to go deeper into your healing. Like there may be certain things that like, I don't know. There just may be some things that's like, hard for me to acknowledge. Let me give you an example. When someone does something really horrible to you, it can be very hard to acknowledge on a soul level. We're one with that acknowledgement is easy for me. That's easy peasy, right? I can do that. The oneness thing, I can totally do that. But when it comes to the earthly realm and dealing with like people on an earthly level, basically like if you've done something like horrible to me, I'm just not like, we just don't have anything to say to each other. Like that's me. Like I'm not, I don't have space in my life for a person that's going to be harming me in that way. So one of the kind of goals that I had with spirituality is, we all have that like super enlightened stereotype, like that we can, once I'm enlightened, I'll be able to handle anything that anybody throws at me, right? Which is kind of unrealistic a little bit, because enlightenment doesn't mean just like handling anything anybody does to you. Enlightenment is really, I heard someone say that enlightenment is really about understanding the concept of oneness, to the point where when you see other people, you see yourself reflected in them. When you get mad at other people, you say, what about this is teaching me about myself? Because I'm looking into it at a soul level, I'm looking into a mirror. So whatever it is that I'm upset about with this person, it's reflecting something within me that's a problem. So, and then sitting down and reflecting on that, and that's enlightenment, And sometimes I want to get to the point where, I think a lot of us do, we want to get to the point where it's like, you do this to me and it really doesn't bother me anymore. But I think that that's kind of an unrealistic expectation, because the fact of the matter is that we live in a material, very emotional realm of existence. So shutting those emotions out, I think, is kind of a goal that, like, it's just a goal that's unrealistic, because emotions serve a purpose for the higher realm. Like, from their perspective, emotions serve a purpose. Emotions are our compass to our higher self. When we're feeling bad, we're not in alignment. Excuse me. When we're feeling bad, we're not in alignment with our higher self. The better we feel, the more in alignment we are with our higher self. So emotions serve a purpose. So I think I cracked a little bit of the code with my personal readings this morning, but you know, it takes time. It takes time to heal things through the energy body. And I don't know, I think one question that I have about myself is there an action that I need to take to really clear this energy? Because that's one thing. The energy is kind of like starting to clear, but I'm really trying to clear the energy out of my energy field, because it's still there, right? So it's okay. It's like I talked about in the full video. It's okay. Like, our experiences are always going to be a memory, right? But when past experiences are still taking the foreground, like if I'm doing a reading and that stuff is coming up in the problem area of your reading, that means it's still in the foreground. It's still a problem. It's okay if it comes up in like the past, because there is a past section of my readings, like it's like problem, past, future, hopes and dreams, you know what I'm saying? So like if it comes up in the past, that's fine. But if it's coming up as a problem, or in your current mood, or in the outcome, like those are problems. That's an indication that you haven't moved this through your energy body. So I think that's one of the reasons why tarot readings are very beneficial. I think they're very beneficial. I think there's going to come a day where tarot readings are a normal part of like therapy and counseling, because it's really a way of tapping into that subconscious self and understanding how in alignment you are with your higher self, right? And like, I was going to U of M. I didn't graduate because COVID. I got COVID and had to leave school and all these things. I was on financial aid, so blah blah blah, and I owe them money. But anyway, my the program of study that I was in was therapy. It was BCN, I think. I can't remember. This was like 2 years ago. So, and there's a lot that's happened in the past 2 years. I really think that I was like not on the right track at U of M. During like my whole life at that point was kind of like moving in a direction that was not. And like, honestly, maybe this will help someone to hear this, because I'm kind of on the other side of it. But during that time of my life, I was probably the most financially healthy and the most healthy in terms of like the trajectory of my life. I was a student at U of M. I had a car that I bought like from Ford, so it was like not a beater. I had my own place. I was away from like some of the most traumatic people that I have in my life. Like I was away from all that. I was doing the damn thing. I was on my grind, right? But I got COVID. I was on financial aid and I got COVID. It messed up my semester. I had to drop out that semester. And I was on financial aid. So like I owe money that I can't pay because I'm on financial aid for a reason. And so I like dropped out. Like I had to drop out of U of M. But the whole point of me telling that story is that if I had stayed on that trajectory, I 100% would be like a therapist right now, doing like traditional therapeutic therapy. That's what I would be doing, right? And I think what I'm doing now is way more therapeutic. And I think that in the future, therapy for all therapists will incorporate, like most therapists, will incorporate tarot, because tarot is a way to really get a reading of a person's energy signature, energy body, in a way that like may uncover things that maybe they're not totally aware of. Or, you know, it keeps people, like, people lying. People don't always want to tell you exactly what's, you know, they may need help, but they're not always going to tell you exactly what's going on in their life. Like, just like people go to the doctor's office and they don't want to talk to you about how many drinks they drank that day. You know what I mean? Even though you can smell it on their breath. They don't want to talk about all of their stuff because they want to try to keep that private and keep that secret, you know? And sometimes they're successful at keeping that stuff secret. But when you do tarot, like, I can tell before a person opens their mouth, I can tell if addiction is a problem for them. Right? Like, so it really cuts through the BS. If you're a doctor, if you're a therapist, you know, if you're a psychiatrist, tarot really is a great way of cutting through the BS. And I don't know if because we do have different gifts. I don't think we come down here with like the same gifts. So I don't know if everyone would be like really good at reading tarot, or like if every person interested in going to school for therapy would be like good at reading tarot. But I do think that every therapist in the future should know how to read tarot, should be good at reading tarot, because you're gonna cut out so many sessions with a person just by on the first session. That should be part of the evaluation. I need to do a tarot reading on you because I need to know what's really going on with you, for real. Like, let's not sit here for 6 weeks and get comfortable with each other and then you start revealing your deepest, darkest secrets. Like, let's find out why you're here on the very first day. That's what I hope for the future. Hopefully I can be that therapist one day. Hopefully. I'll set up my own practice. I'm going to set up my own therapy practice and do tarot on people. I think that's where it's headed. I'm not going to have credentials, but I'm going to do it though. Okay. So it mirrors your relationship with your intuition, mirrors the relationship with the soul. So the last question is, how can you better honor your natural cycles? And of course, this information I got from a lovely lady on YouTube that was talking about the High Priestess. And so women definitely are more in tune with the fact that being in tune with natural cycles, whether you're a woman or a man. I mean, men don't have like the monthly cycles that women do, but they still have cycles, right? You still, because I feel like their cycles would more closely like align with like what's going on in astrology as a whole, not just with the moon. But women are very affected by what's going on with their monthly cycle and the moon cycles and stuff like that. So, excuse me. So yeah, and she was talking about how, like, for women, when we are on our cycle, we don't feel like doing, like, well, what she said was like, you know, you don't feel like doing backflips and this and that on your cycle. But when you have like a job, you can't just always call off work. It's not okay to call off work in a work setting just because you're on your period. Like, you can't call in and be like, I'm on my period, I'm gonna have to take a few days off. You can't do that. You can do that if you're self-employed, you know, but you can't do that in a work setting. So yeah, she was saying, you know, how can you better honor your natural cycles, especially if you are working and attendance is an issue. I kind of have, even with my daughter is 9, going on 10. And like, if she doesn't feel well enough to go to school, I don't send her to school. Like, they're going to arrest me one day, I'm sure, Because if she's like so tired that like I can't wake her up, she doesn't go to school that day. Sorry. Like she, like she's 9. Like hopefully she'll get better at that as she gets older. She's also my 4th baby, and I've gone through a spiritual awakening since the other 3. So my mindset is like, there are more important things. I would much rather her understand kindness, understand, how to create ripples of positivity in the universe. And she is ahead of her class. She's ahead of her class, and like they're always talking about skipping her ahead of a grade. So that's another reason why I don't really worry about her missing school, and I do work with her at home and stuff like that. But I just feel like there's her vision isn't great. And there's mornings where like she wakes up and she's so tired that like she's not even seeing, like she's having a hard time focusing her eyes. Okay, baby girl, you need to go back to sleep. Like, I'm not sending you to school if you're so tired that you can't even see. So it's stuff like that. Like, what would life look like if we really followed our cycles and followed our intuition? We wouldn't be, employers I don't think any employer who may be listening to this video likes to hear me say that. But the reality of it is that work is like only important as far as we need it to feed ourselves, clothe ourselves, house ourselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not the end all be all. There are things that are more important. In the spirit world, when you pass on and have a life review, they're not asking you what college did you go to, where did you work, were you a partner at your law firm. They're not judging anybody based on their life, but they're also looking at like, what ripples did you create among other people? What did you do good for the world? How many people did you heal by coming into contact with them? Those are the questions they're asking. They're not asking, were you part of the 5 a.m. club? They're not worried about that. So just something to think about. Just something to think about. I'm very big at self-employment. I really am very big on self-employment. Love. Okay, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. If you like this video, please like it, share my channel, or share the video and subscribe to my channel. What do you like about the High Priestess? If you read tarot, I'm sure I missed something because I was tired when I was taking notes on this morning. But what's your favorite thing about the High Priestess? And do you have anything to add? I would love to hear it. And I'm about to go write some notes on the Empress, because the Empress is up next. And let me see if I can find the Empress. The Empress is up next, and I record my videos in batch. So I'm going to go ahead and record a video on the Empress. Try to take better notes this time. And yeah. So as soon as I record, so I'm going to record that video. I'm going to do some editing tomorrow, and I'm going to start scheduling these videos to go out starting next week. It's currently the 24th, I think. 24th of May. So these videos should start going out next week. And then I'm going to start doing my pick a card readings on my other channel, which is going to be called The Spiritual Healer. So that channel, we're going to do pick a card readings, and then based on the energy of those pick a card readings, we are going to do some healing work. some soul alignment, some shadow work. So if you're interested in that, please go over to the Spiritual Healer and subscribe to my channel over there so you can get notified, because I'm going to start getting those videos. Those videos might start going out next week as well. I cannot find the... Oh, no. I'm looking for the Empress, y'all. Here it is. So this is the card we're doing next. This is my girl, the Empress. It's one of my favorite cards. My girl. So yeah, we'll take a look at her. I'm going to take some notes on her, and then I will be back to do another video on the Empress. So you guys have a great day, and I will see you next week. Peace out. Bye.